A very important aspect to becoming more productive is knowing exactly where you're spending your time and how much time you're spending doing it. With that in mind, Action Enforcer Pro includes several progress tracking features and tools, which include reports and the scoreboard. Let's look at how to get the most out of these tools. Action Enforcer Pro contains a simple report feature that automatically tabulates useful data as you use it. You can then review the data to get a crystal clear picture of how and where you're spending your valuable time. So how is this report data generated? Report data is generated whenever a timer is completed, either automatically by counting down to 0 or manually when you click the complete button on the timer, which is this green timer. So if you click this here, it will then say you've completed that item. Two things happen when either you manually complete an item or when the timer runs out and it automatically says it's complete. The number of total actions that you have completed will be updated up here, and the name of the completed action, the notes associated with the action, the time scheduled to complete it, the actual time it took to complete, and the current date are all captured and saved behind the scenes. When you press the report button, highlighted right here, all the data captured from all the actions you've completed is displayed in an easy-to-read format in the report panel. As you can see, here's an example of a report. Since this is a new installation of Action Enforcer Pro, we don't have a lot of data to look at, but this gives you an idea of what it will look like. You'll see that the report is broken up into two sections. On the left-hand side is the list of completed actions, and these are all the actions that have been completed during the reporting period and are included in the actual report. And the actual report is here on the right. Sometimes you might have an item listed in your completed action list and included in your report that you don't want in it. If that's the case, you can delete it out of the reporting period by simply clicking the big red X next to the item in your completed action list. Like I said, the right-hand side is the actual report, and the information within the report is separated into three sections. First is the overall totals, and this section displays the overall number of completed actions, the total scheduled time for those actions, and the total actual time it took to complete those actions. The next one is totals by date. This section displays data based on the date an action was completed. For example, if you completed 6 various actions on Monday, July 27th, that group of actions and their cumulative totals will appear in their own section. And then you have the third section, which is totals by action. This section displays data based on the name of the action. For example, if you performed or completed the check email action 5 times over the course of the week, that group of similar actions and their cumulative totals will appear in their own section. I'd like you to note that after generating a report and reviewing it, maybe at the end of the week or the end of the month, it's a good idea to click the Clear All button at the bottom of the completed action list in order to begin the following week with a clean slate. This action is instant though, so make sure you're ready to clear it. Then when you start the next week or the next month, whatever time period you choose, your report will only show those items that you have completed since the last time you cleared all actions. So this is a way to reset it and make sure you're calculating your reports just for that latest time period in question. Because notes associated with actions can be lengthy, displaying them in the report is optional. To include notes in the report, click the green plus button below the text area where the report is displayed. This will reformat the report to include any notes associated with the completed actions in the report. Because the report is presented as simple text with no special formatting, notes containing HTML tags like bold, italics, links, etc. are not displayed. If including no information in your reports is important, be sure to avoid using HTML when writing your notes. Just use plain text instead. To remove notes from the report, click the red minus button. The report panel provides 3 output options: copy report, save, and print. The copy report function copies the contents of the report to your computer's clipboard where you can paste it into another document, perhaps an email. The save report option opens a dialog box allowing you to save the report as a simple text file. Print report sends the report to your printer for printing a hard copy. I have a Mac and it only shows a copy report down here. To print it using a Macintosh, you would go up here to File and then Print. You can save a copy by hitting the copy function, and then it's going to save it to your clipboard, and then you would just simply open up a text file and paste it in there and then save that file. I think most people would agree that there is real motivating power in setting goals and then tracking your progress against how well you are doing in meeting those goals. This important concept is the basis for a feature in Action Forcer Pro known as the Scoreboard. The idea for using the Scoreboard is simple. You decide on a goal for the number of hours of an action you want to complete for the week, or every 2 weeks or month. Then as you complete actions and timers, Action Forcer Pro will track the total time you spent on those actions and will update the scoreboard display to show the difference between that time and the time goal you've set. For example, the graphic here shows an overall time goal of 60 hours. At the present time, I've only completed 14 hours of that goal, shown as 14 lighted dots in a 60-dot scoreboard. This visual goalkeeper helps you track your overall progress for the week so you can make adjustments as needed. Now let's look at how to configure the scoreboard to fit your needs. The first thing to understand is where the completed data displayed on the scoreboard comes from. The 14 hours shown above in this example, for instance. This data comes from the total actual data that is tabulated when you run the report. Even though the total actual time shown in the report is 14 hours and 40 minutes, this amount is rounded down and shown on the scoreboard as only 14 hours. The scoreboard will only show 15 hours when the actual total time reaches at least 15 hours. Knowing that the scoreboard uses this report data, the next thing you need to decide is how long you want to collect data for the report before you clear it and start from scratch. 1 week, 2 weeks, a month? Let's say you regularly collect data for reports on a weekly basis. Then you clear all completed actions on the report panel and start over. With that in mind, what hour goal for taking action do you want to reach each week? 40 hours? 50 hours? Once you decide on an hour goal per whatever time period you select, the next step is to configure the scoreboard display accordingly. You can do this by clicking the Customize the Scoreboard button to the right of the interface. This will open a panel that will allow you to configure the scoreboard size. For example, if you decide the hour goal you want to reach each week is 55, you have to scroll your mouse over until 55 is highlighted over there in the Set To option and then click. The scoreboard display will instantly update based on your selection. Your mission now is to light up as many of the 55 lights on the scoreboard as you can before the end of the week. So each one of these little dots represents an hour, and your goal is to make sure they're all lighted up by the end of the week so you can reach your 55 hours towards action goal. Obviously, since the functionality of the scoreboard is tied directly to the time data shown in the report, the scoreboard display is reset when you clear the completed actions on the reports panel, as discussed earlier. That wraps up this advanced tutorial on tracking your progress within Action Forcer Pro. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video where we're going to be talking about some of the miscellaneous features such as being able to change the background within Action Forcer Pro.